Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Allie. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. And, just so glad to be able to be up and be hanging around with the folks today. I hope everybody woke up, feeling good about life. But like I said, sometimes we know life gets hard. And so sometimes we need a little help along the way. Sometimes we don't know which step to take next. And God blesses us with people like our guest. And so we're going to find out a little bit more about the man and the mission, what he does and why he does what he does. But just want to remind you guys that as we open and as we close, we show you guys flyers and things that are going on in the community. Make sure you take those numbers down, contact those people, whether you need help or you can offer help. Either way, there is something out there for you. There are answers if you need them. So again, we're making connections with Allie here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. Well, I have an exciting guest for you today. Look, I was trying to make him think we went to high school together, but I was in a whole other county. Wrong, Rodney. But today we have with us Rodney McGill. Hey, Rodney, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. I always love Saturdays and Mondays when I get to talk to somebody and see what they're doing and how they're sharing their gift with the world. So I'm going to just tell, you're the founder of Community Unity Center. I think you call it CUC 100
hmm
LLC, the Save Our Children Movement Inc., and also Civic Communications Inc. But I know those are things you founded. But since it's your first time on the show, just introduce yourself and tell the family a little bit about yourself.
Okay. How's everyone doing? Thank you for having me here, Allie.
Yeah.
I want to make just say a few things before I kind of tell people who I am. The first thing is you showed some flyers early. I saw some of those flyers was events that we were doing. I'm glad you went and looked on our page, and some of the flyers were people who we support, people we see doing things. And I just want to point out that when you hear about the three businesses that I'll talk about in this interview, all those three businesses are focused on building with people like yourself and other people in the community. All three of those businesses at the top of their mission statements is bringing people together to do good. And with that being said, the other thing I want to say before I spoke about myself, I wanted to, from the very top, let people know that we all a team and that everybody's job is so important. It doesn't matter what you do, bringing attention to social justice issues, bringing attention to what's going on in the world and those that are involved in it. Those things and the way we do those things in every little part are so important. And I have to say that before I say anything, Allie, because in this business, one of the things I notice about is I see so many superstars like yourself who don't realize how vital a role that what you do play in the actual of us curing these ills. We're not doing this to do it forever. We're doing this to not have to do it anymore. So it's from the very beginning. I have to let people know that all those people who you may like something on Facebook, you might have told somebody about something. You might have sent $5. You might have brought a bag of clothes that you was going to take to Goodwill. You might have sent some children. You might have talked about it on in your. All those things are part of changing the narrative and the actions to what's going on in the community. And so, with that being said, my first business I started was the Save Our Children movement. The Save Our Children movement was created off of a lot of thoughts I had to tell a little bit about my story. I started May the 5th of 1999. I went to federal prison. I went to federal prison in May the 5th of 1999 to February to June the 25th of 2012. That's exactly 13 years, 1 month, and 19 days. And came home when I came home in June 25th of 2012. I had already wrote 6 books. I'd already
Mm.
went a quarter way through my eventual government degree that I got when I came out from Belmont Abbey in government. Um, I just already what I'm doing now has set all the foundation, set all the pieces to my life before I came home after 13 years, 1 month, and 19 days. So I kind of have an unfair advantage over people that's never been locked up because they never had an opportunity to really sit down and face every single thought they had, to look at
Mm.
every single thing from a new angle and to basically be away from the whole world and to come back with a whole fresh mind. So my story, the Save Our Children movement, is the birth of that. I created in 2014 this um, organization called the Save Our Children movement. Turned it into a 501c3, going off of the Trayvon Martin and all the things that was going on. I wasn't into the talking and crying and moaning, and which is part of life. I just couldn't frustrate myself looking forward after doing that time of getting in that circle of just shaking my head. I had to be active. I had to be able to see and feel the work being done. So the Save Our Children movement is what that is. And from the Save Our Children movement, we created in 2014. By the time 2018 came, we was already sponsored by Foundation for the Carolinas, and we was already lifting off, and we had been doing events even before we incorporated and running programs. So we, in 2018 came, we just went down the Executive Center Drive, where we're still at today, going on 4 years. Bought us an office, started a business called Community Unity Center 100, and allow anybody in the community to come over and do their programs, do their business, learn. I write grants, get everybody's business started. I just saw a meme that over the coronavirus pandemic, that all these different Black business owners that come about. I would like to think that I was and us and we were a big part of that. Even before that, we have classes on grant writing free. Some we pay $10, $20. We have classes. I'm a grant reviewer for the city of Charlotte, so we're able to get people in a lot of rooms. We came up and created the $50,000 grants that a lot of organizations in Charlotte are getting now from the safety committee that I was on last year at the city of Charlotte. The 8 Can't Wait, defunding the police, all of that. So a lot's been going on in civic communications. You know, it's the big brother of all the organizations. It's the baby. It was created at the end of last year. However, it's been, since I went to school at Belmont Abbey, a goal of mine to have a lobbying organization, something like the ACLU, where I could go down to the political halls. I moderated debates in Charlotte with the sheriff, the current DA. So since I came home, I've been able to use the time that I sat down and talked to put my thoughts together to kind of show the people around me how you don't have to go 40 years in a circle. Because, Allie, when I came home, even though I was gone for 13 years, 1 month and 19 days, sad to say, I watched 85% of people when I came home doing the exact same things with the exact same attitude, with the exact same hang-ups, with the exact same, ups and downs, the exact same everything, Allie. After it's not about
Right.
in the Bible, Moses and going 40 years in a circle for a journey that only takes 11 days. So, like this opportunity, you and I can do something that can be so profound for so many people off of one conversation. And I guess that's kind of letting you know who I am, where I'm coming from. I'm very transparent. And my goal is get as many people together that want to work together to just do things together to lower the burden on each other and to be more effective.
Now, even just that last sentence is major because, like you said, I mean, there are a lot of organizations, and a lot of times, you feel like I really want to do something, I want to help, but I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I'm one person, I can't feed, but I might be able to feed 10 people, but I would like to feed 500 people. And so sometimes then we just sit down and we don't do anything because we just don't know what to do or how to get it started or who would be
Mm-hmm.
our support. And so, just like you're talking about, that's
Mm,
one of the reasons this show is called Making Connections, because we like to connect the viewer, our family, with the resources that they need. If there's somebody out there
mm-hmm.
who's already doing the work, oh, well, I can jump in with Rodney. I can see what he's got going on. I can offer my assistance
Mm-hmm.
here. Or, I can let Rodney know that there is a family or a community in this side of Charlotte or Statesville or somewhere. How can we get them
Mm-hmm.
there? So, I love that, and that's really what it takes because together, each can accomplish more. Together as a
Mm-hmm.
team, we're broader, our stretch is further. And so I think it's awesome. So tell me though a little bit more about, like, I know you were saying you started, you had your thoughts and you're you're able to sit down and, kind of think about everything that's happened in life and stuff like that. But the Save the Children movement, like, really, what is that? How do you save the children? What do you do?
Well, you direct services and paying attention to the environment. Meaning, if we have a child for 4 hours, we know it's 20 more hours in a day. We can do basic things for that child and that child's family that can take some tension and burdens off. Now, I want to make it clear to everyone that resources are limited in the world. Um, Resources are not something that are, I would say, is plentiful to all. I would say there are a lot of services. However, when it comes to services for our people, our voice, our skin color, when we're seen as us, we're not at the front of anybody's line. We're not the people who are actually actually distributing the resources at the top of the line. So because we're not the people in most cases who are not distributing the resources, a lot of times the resources can be plentiful, yet they don't get to the people who need them the most. And I'll give you an example. Go back 2017, when before we was building civic communications and CUC 100, we was pushing the city of Charlotte foundations and all others to go find these grassroots organizations and to make the processes for them getting money easier and to give them the
Yeah.
backing that they would need to sustain that. Now, at the same time, we're telling them that we're telling people like yourself and ourselves, even and our constituents and colleagues, that we shouldn't depend on them at all. That anything that we get from them that'll be a bonus, then we should continue our work with the expectation that we'll get zero from them. Now, a lot of us have gotten much more than zero. We've been blessed to get several grants, including two very recently. At the same time, we making sure that we do not be the people who we despise before we got any grants. Making sure we're the people who sharing with the other organizations, participating with the other organizations, open the door wider for other organizations to come in because we know the goal is to be successful in this, not just to have a successful organization. An organization can be successful. You can give, let me give you statistics, and most people know this. A lot of people in our business know this, that there's a report out, and it's been out, and it's a generational report, that out of all of the 50 big cities, Charlotte is dead last in economic mobility. And to explain that to somebody who doesn't know what that means, when Charlotte is dead last in economic mobility, number 50 out of 50 big cities, that statistic is saying that if you're born in Charlotte, there's a 96% opportunity that if you were born poor, you would die poor. Those are the statistics. Because of the zip code you live in, you're a child, or whoever you are. The statistics show that if you're born in Charlotte, North Carolina, poor, you have a 96% probability that that is the way you will die. That statistic is widely known, and that statistic has caused the government to give many grassroots organizations like our own funding because pressing that issue. Because at the same time that Charlotte is dead last in economic mobility, it has been number 1 or 2 in charitable giving over that same time. So think about that. You have a city that's dead last in being able to move out of poverty, and at the same time, this city in the whole country is number 1 or 2 in charitable giving. So that tells me that the charitable giving is not getting to the people that's supposed to have it. So what we do on the political side with civic communications, and I'm going back and forth to Raleigh to deal with Congress people, is to open more doors and resources for everybody that's doing things on a grassroots level, social justice level for our communities.
Wow.
Yes, and I'll put that right there.
Okay. But I mean, are you serious? 96% chance?
Listen,
Oh my
even my
God.
jokes are serious. We have a responsibility to make sure that everything we say is validated. You can confirm it. And then when somebody hear us and go back and see, yes, that's what's true, that brings them back to us again over time. We're in this for the long run. The things that we say, I don't do many talking to people like this. All the things I'm doing is in forward motion. I'm posting things that's going on. We're in the field. We're doing things. I don't take the time too much. The news caught us a couple of weeks ago. That was in the act of us giving out food. However, these type of conversations where we explaining where we're coming from, where we're at, where we're going to, how you can get involved in all those things are things that we don't often do. So I say that to say is I appreciate this opportunity. Yet I want everybody listening to understand that they do have a way to help, and help is 95% non-monetary. It could be
Right.
nine, it could be 100% non-monetary. There are so many. Look, you can go on a social media page somewhere and just say something that you saw that was positive about anyone, and you are changing the narrative. You have to understand that black on black crime is a misnomer. Every culture kills its own. Every culture kills from within. Every culture steals from within, beats from within, loves from within. On the news media, the news itself, movies, music, everything depicted us as being ultraviolet predators, as people like Hillary Clinton said out of her mouth on television. Everything I'm saying is true. And these things that people hear, that they're not hearing from me, that I'm repeating back to you, statistics, things people say, people hear these things, Allie. Children hear these things. These things have an effect. Words do matter.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sticks and stones may hurt me worse. That is not true. That is just not true. Our community has worse of a mental fight than we do a physical fight. We've proven that we can survive any physical torture. It's the mental part, Allie. We have to realize and say we got to hit a refresh button and say, you know what? I may not be able to throw everything out my mind to see if it's solid and real. Yet, what I can do is before I say or do anything, I can make sure that what I'm doing 5 years later, 10 years later, 100 years later would not be just a sign of the times and going with the current state of mind. We have to remain on task no matter what the majority says. Being a government major, one of the things this country was scared of was for the majority to rule. It's called tyranny of the majority. Meaning if the majority of people say, let's go back to slavery, oh, let's pass a law, we're going back. We can't have that because people all agree with it or because more people agree with it. We have to realize that we're speaking for good. We're speaking for our people. We're fighting for our people, and we're not going to compromise.
Mm. Amen.
Period. Simple.
Period. And
There is no other.
that's what I was trying to think of. That saying, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me."
Yeah,
But that is
because
so
it's not. It's
untrue.
just not. It's just, especially the children.
Right. And I know, and see, even that, I know people tell us to say that because they think it's going to empower us not to, feel it. But if you continue to hear it, if it continues to be spoken of your life and, nobody's speaking well of your life, then you tend to gravitate to that. And so, like you said,
Exactly.
even today, I want somebody to know that you can make it. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. You can
Yes.
overcome. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna be some stretching. It's gonna be some bad days. You're gonna cry some days,
Uh
but
huh.
you can overcome. And you do not have to be part of that 96%. That even if you was born in poverty, that you die in poverty. You don't have to be that. Can I get an
That's right. That's right. Amen. That's
amen?
right. You're exactly right, Allie. Encouraging somebody, it goes for like it goes on for so long after you encourage them because encouragement is like a match. You can light something in somebody and they just go.
Hmm. Hmm. And even I don't know. I believe in planting seeds. I'm telling you, 3 years ago when I started this, I was so nervous. I said all the time. The first day we were starting, I told the girl, I said, just cancel it. Don't you take us live. We're not doing it. But I knew I had to stay, like you said, stay on task. There was a purpose for me to be here. There's a purpose for me to meet the
Mm-hmm.
different people that I've met.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to tell people now,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are, if you need help, you know back in the day I didn't know people, but now I know people like Rodney. Even if you're trying to, branch out and you're trying to write music, there are people that I know and I've had on the show who are willing to help people.
Mm-hmm.
If you need
Mm-hmm.
your business set up, you don't know how to do the LLC, there are people that we know that can help
Mm-hmm.
you along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we don't need you to do
Mm-hmm.
is to sit down and not do anything. What we don't need you to do is to
Mm-hmm.
take your gift to the grave. You have a
That's
good
right.
reason. So,
That's
get
right.
out there and, and collaborate, ask the questions. Don't be ashamed of where you are. You know, let's get it done, right?
The power of the mind, Allie. Back in 2014, when we started the Save Our Children movement, me and some of the people that, people come and go in life. And when you get focused, if you're going where you're going, they have an opportunity to come back, yet they have to come back where you at. They don't come back where you was at. So, you picture yourself driving a ship. Some people may jump off at some point. They don't think the ship is going where they want to go. But at some point, they find out that that ship was the whole time going exactly where they wanted to go. They just wasn't ready to go there. So they may come back years down the road. And I say all that to say is the power of the mind is phenomenal. And I'm going to give you an example. And it's a living example. On my social media page, I can tag at least 20, 25 people into a conversation that goes something like this. In 2014, we had a conversation. I hadn't been long from prison, so I'm still looking at things at that point from outside looking in. So one of the things I looked at was how powerful the mind was, and kind of set up what I'm gonna tell you about how powerful the mind is. The greatest gift that I got from prison was being able to, at any time, to appear to myself to stop all my thoughts. I don't know if people know how beautiful it is from a person who had millions of thoughts going at one time to
Mm.
now at any time, no matter what's going on, to give myself the feeling as though I'm not even thinking. Now, with that being said, developing that gift while I was in prison, while I'm in the hole, while I'm at my lowest times, while I'm at the most violent time, to be able to take myself into a place where I can talk to one thought at a time,
Mm.
allowed me to realize just how the best gift I had coming home and what I got to make sure I keep while I'm out here. Because a lot of people that do have fall down and go through things, they often forget that what they fell through had lessons in it. And it had also had silver linings and gifts. And you got to make
Right.
sure that you keep that part. Don't throw that part away. So one of the things that I kept when I came home, the first step I took after all those years, I felt like the earth pushed down. So I want to keep that feeling. So one of the things I do is at all times I stay grateful for being able to have my thoughts in a way that I can compartmentalize and to be able to the next day not be burdened by the day before and only take the best part
Mm.
from the day before with me. Now, with the strength of the mind being that strong, and I know that's real abstract to people, I want to give you something that me and 20, 25 other people conversation we had over the past since 2014. I told them, and we had the discussion that we had to put something into society that was more catchy than a phrase we had when I was young. You may remember it. It was called "Where's the beef?"
Hmm. I do.
Wendy's Burgers.
Right.
Everybody said it. Black people, white people, Spanish people, young people, old people, school teachers, students, working people, bosses. Everybody was saying it. Where's the beef? Now,
True.
flash forward after all those years of prison and time in my life, I was in the military. Right after high school, I went around the world. I've seen a lot. I've lived in Atlanta for 10 years. I'm from Clover, South Carolina. Grew up in Gastonia, right outside of Charlotte. So I've been a few places. So in 2014, when we're starting to Save Our Children movement, and Trayvon Martin and Eric Garner and all these things are going on in people's minds and narratives are going so far to me off track of where we should be going because they're hitting us with one sensational murder or disease or war after the next. So we said we got to give people something that's like, where's the beef? And like the terms then that was famous, turn up and on fleek. That was 2014, 13, 12. So we said we have to get a people a focus, and we're going to use social media, and we're going to program people to see this one thing that's going to be great, it's going to be catchy, and they're going to say it. And we made Facebook post after Facebook post, Twitter, Instagram. And you would never believe what that word we said we was going to make famous. Before I tell you the word, we're going to make it famous because people are not running to unity. Unity is what we need now and then and later. So how can we get people to go to? It's like taking medicine with Kool-Aid. We told them that since people love business so much, they love to be able to make money, and we are business people. We're going to use a word. People like to use big words. Let's use collaboration. Yeah, that was us. You go back to our social media pages. In 2014, you could go to Google and we would Google collaboration to give you these big old memes and all these things. We plastered them for years. We took it to the Charlotte and told them the only way we could save our communities. We used that dead last in economic mobility. That same report said that the only way that we could come out of this condition was to work together and be the village. We already knew that was unity. So we use collaboration. We have meetings about it. We pressed it. We put it into everything we do. And now, for the past couple years, especially since COVID, everybody, even you earlier, uses the word collaboration. Yeah, we could take everybody back 3, 4, 5 years, and we can show on their own social media pages in their own world that the word collaboration was not even in their lexicon. So I wanted to give you that, not to show you that wow, we did that or so much, or to brag, just to show you the power of the mind and what you can do. We have a new word that we have out that we're bringing people now. We already have a logo for it, and we have dozens of organizations, and we've been saying it for 2 years that we were going to do it. It's called the convergence. The convergence is when you get a whole lot of collaborations all over, and you get them connected in a communicative way on apps where they can connect with each other and share services. And in a split second, snap of a finger, blink of an eye, you can direct somebody to everything they need just by being inside of that convergence. So that's what in 5 years we see convergence being the thing that came after collaboration. And we're doing it with the power of the mind. You're going to see in social media. Convergence this, convergence that. We need to converge. Convergence, can we have a convergency? And we're going to throw it out there because we know when people hear a word that they may not know and it makes sense and they learn it and they see the sense of it and they get to see it word of mouth, whether it's where's the beef or whether it's let's turn up, people are going to use. So yes, I just wanted to put that in there because that's what we do, and that's one of the places that we at. The mental part is just as important as the physical and the financial.
Oh gosh, that's so good. I mean, sometimes I just
We don't do that. We don't have this conversation, so
yeah,
you may be getting more than I don't know what we, but I'm just giving you, because we may not ever have this conversation or the opportunity or the will to do it again.
right.
We don't have them often.
Right. And sometimes on the show, I know I got to go on, but sometimes I just want to sit with the thought that somebody is, put out there and sit with something. But I know we got to keep moving. But I like that because, like you're saying, okay, you first start, you start collaborating, but then when you converge, and then the fact that you have the app because, some organizations might not be good at social media where there's the other person in another organization that's just their thing, and it's like it don't even stress them. And some people might not be good with finances, or they just need help, and they don't want to keep all these receipts. But you got somebody who loves numbers, who loves to get those receipts and make sure everything
Uh-huh.
comes together.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what it really
Mm-hmm.
takes in order to be successful. And I like what you said too. It's not okay, organization can be successful because the organization may be in the community. They might all have T-shirts and they come together and they treat each other nice. but what is the organization? What have they accomplished? You know, how have they changed
Mm-hmm.
lives? When you start out with 5 people with your t-shirt on and you go to an event, but then 2 years later you end up with 25 people with your t-shirt on because
Mm-hmm.
they are on board and they want to promote what you're doing and they want to further what you're doing, then that's when you're
Mm-hmm.
really making the difference. And
That's
so,
right.
you know, I just want to encourage us. There are a lot of people out there who need help and they just don't know
Mm-hmm.
where to get the help. But
Mm-hmm.
don't give up. Keep looking, and you might connect with somebody. Be prayerful. I'm gonna say be prayerful. I don't, you know, I ain't trying to tell the whole family you got to serve Jesus. It's up to you, but be prayerful who you connect with. You know, and then even if you connect with somebody who's not a good fit, don't just stop and be like, "I see people are this and people don't." No, it's more than that one person. Everybody's not got that interest, and sometimes people want to help, but they don't have the knowledge either. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just don't give up because there are people out here who can help further that mission. And like I said, do not take your gift to the grave. All right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Allie, you said so much important things that made me want to let people know. You know, you mentioned don't take your gift to your grave. You know, don't take your anything to the grave. You know, use it. What you have. You know, be grateful. You know, from somebody who, um, no matter to me the way I look at it, no matter how society was set up. Excuse me. No matter how, no matter how things were in life, the accountability that comes in life when you look back and say, you know what, okay, I'm taking full accountability for everything that's happened to me. That lets you know when you lose things like your freedom, your ability to create and express, when you lose things like your relationships with your family, when you lose things like the ability to make your own decisions, when you can do anything, when you lose all those things,
Mm,
and I just want people to know that because people that have never lost things, a lot of times I don't think they take it as grateful as a person who has lost it. You
right,
know, if you
right.
have lost everything, I mean, nothing material. Throw all that out the window. Everything except material, including material. So
Right.
when you lose those things and you're a
Mm,
thoughtful person and you sit back and look at just what you lost and just imagine and create an opportunity to have all of those things again, you know.
yeah.
So people, I just want people to know that uh, the help part, and this may sound harsh, Allie, yet I'm a straight shooter and I take it the same way I give it. And that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a house with a mother and my 4 younger brothers. With my mother 30, I'm 15. So we're in the projects in Gastonia. So I understand what it's like for a family and what it needs to be thrifty, to not have. However, I say all this to say, Ali, is that I want people in the world to understand that no matter what's going on, if you got one breath, you got an opportunity.
Yeah. Come
You
on.
got to have a fight in you
Come on.
that
That's
you
true.
got to have a fight in you. It's in there. You got to have a fight in you that it doesn't matter what happens. You're going to fight. Just fight. And with that, you don't lose that. That's what you set your cruise control in. Your default mode is fight. You know, it's not, oh, this happened in the world. I got to go do this. Listen, when COVID-19 came, we didn't blink. We elevated, we've escalated. See, you build yourself for the hardest times and you ready for any time.
Mm,
And that's what we build. The organizations out here understand that what you saying about it's not about that just presentation of the shirts. Those things are beautiful for positive narratives, for people to be a part of things. However, on a ship of 2,000 people, there's only one person with their hand on the steering wheel. And
right.
you got to remember, no matter what the other 1,000 doing, that person with the steering wheel must be a person that no matter what's going on, that can keep us on task. Allie, if we're going somewhere to any destination and it's far out, the further that we off course, the further we go, the further away from that goal we'll get. We have to designate our goals as people, as families, as individuals. We have to tell ourselves or have set inside ourselves in some way that today will not be like tomorrow. I will not do today what I did tomorrow. I will have a described, definitive plan in my. If you go on our pages, we got one group, CUC 100, Community Unity Center. It's close to 1,000 people. Probably out of 1,000, 800 of them are some type of business owner, some type of elected official, some type of influencer. Inside that group, we have a platform that specifically describes by the note what we are about, what we're going to do, what we're not going to go for, why we do it, who we do it for, and everything else. Whoever you are, an individual, a business, a church, create a platform where nobody can take you off task. Where you can look at your platform every day and say, if it's not these things, I'm not part of it. I do not have time. I don't have one life. I have one mind. You gotta have one goal. You gotta have one focus. And the baker needs the bake. The welder needs the weld. The media needs the media. The cook needs the cook. We have to mind our business. We have to have people doing what they do to the fullest extent. Whatever your gift, whatever your love, whatever your role, you got to be a star in that role. There is no big eyes. There are no little you. We press these things into everything that we do. And when I say we, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about I'm talking about when we hear something that we know makes sense and we know make right, is right. We got to tell the next person because the middle part of this is the biggest part. Once we get that middle part, we can really deal with our emotions then. We out here traumatized. We are out here literally dealing with trauma that nobody else in the history of the world has ever dealt with, and at the same time driving the ships. So I don't want nobody out there to be thinking in any type of way that they like.
I feel you. Come on. Oh,
you can fight while you cry.
Yeah. And that just means you're passionate about what you're talking about. You know, you didn't come on here just to show up and have everybody join your Facebook group. You came with a purpose. You came because you're passionate about what you do and you want people to know what you do. You want people to realize that, like you said, when you're in the fight and it looks like you're losing, don't give up. I mean, just keep on fighting. I mean, if you got to hit them with your elbow, you hit them with something different. I mean, you got to keep going. You know, that goal, that vision that you have is not turning out as pretty as you thought it would, but that's okay. Sometimes you got to revamp. Sometimes you got to start over. I've said it before, take the good from what you learned when you started your first business and take what worked and add to that. You know, don't give up. Just tweak what didn't work, tweak your team if that's what you got to do, but don't give up. Keep fighting for your family, because everything that you do, you are an example for somebody else who's coming along the way. You know what I'm saying? And I think too, like, when we always talk about in church, people tell their testimony, tell the truth, because you just saying that the God blessed me and yeah, but tell what, before he blessed you. Who were you? What did you do wrong? You know what I'm saying? Then people be like,
right.
Oh gosh, well, he blessed her, he blessed him. Well, he can do it for me too, because he really has no respect of person. And so, yeah, I mean, you said so many things, even like build for hard times. So, you're prepared at all times. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a plan. You gotta, you often hear that phrase too, plan your work and work your plan.
That's right.
Keep working at it. I'm telling you, don't give up, because the vision that you see, it can be accomplished. But
That's right.
it's so many pieces to it. And like you said, that middle piece, because you have the vision, that's the beginning. but you got to get to that middle piece to get to the end. And so you got to go through that middle area of the building, of the structuring, of the putting in place that the social media. If you start on your own, you got to be consistent. It's a lot to it. It truly is. But I just say, don't give up. Whatever it is, keep fighting.
Yeah, I concur 100%, Allen. Um, what I was saying earlier that we're living in trauma. When I
Yeah.
say we living in trauma, if one of us, you or I, nothing ever affected us in a negative way. It's all through our families. It's all through our community. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
So just be relentless. One of the reasons I don't like to get into the talking part of this because you think about just what you're doing. If you got a centipede with 100 legs, they're not saying move this leg first, this leg second. They're just doing it. But if they had to sit there and say, which one of these 100 legs do I, it wouldn't go off. So
Right. Right. And oh gosh, see, don't get started. Don't get me started on the grind, but that trauma part, I'm telling you, I know people I know sometimes even that's why you don't want to share your gift. Because sometimes when you share your gift, you got to share your trauma.
you have to relive it. Yeah, yeah.
And,
You use it to propel you.
and sometimes you don't want people to know what your trauma is.
Exactly. Because you don't never want to make it about yourself because it's not. Said today, even though my name's on my shirt, I do that as my self-pride for what I built and those things. Yet my conversation, my attitude is to get the most out of whoever I build with, not the most for myself. Whatever you're doing, be the most successful. And the more successful we are, the things we do, like I said, the baker be a great baker. The teacher be a great teacher. Everybody mind their business and do their thing. We make the change then. And, be supportive of
Right.
each other.
Right. And that was something else you said, oh gosh, but even about being focused, and because sometimes, gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly what you said, but sometimes people get you off focus or the situation, life will get you off track. You know what I'm saying? And so, but if
Yeah,
you don't
easy.
remember why I started this, why I'm doing this, who I need to affect, because guess what? I
That's
don't
right.
want 20 years from now, people coming on here saying that we still at 96% dying in poverty, even if we was born that way. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't even be that way a couple of years from now. But I definitely don't want it to be that way 5, 10, 15 years because that means people that I know, people that are in my family, are dying from poverty. I gotta change the narrative. I gotta change what they see. I gotta be an example of something different. Even if she don't, and I'm not even talking about, like you said, money wise. Even if I don't have $1 million in the bank, but she was successful. You know what? She was a fighter. She was an encourager. She affected somebody's life. So I need to follow that path. I can do it too. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. Well, Ali, kind of, lowering the what I would call, bring a little levity to the situation. At the same time, recognizing, I want to make it clear, Ali, to anybody listening to you, listening to this, that if you ever get in this business, it's a heavy lift because every single day, I know that a lot of people can deal with a lot of things for a short amount of time. However, in this business that we're in, it's been going on for so many hundreds of years and building up that if you internalize it all, it'll break you out. You see me crying on the call with you, and one of the reasons that I don't get in the calls because I know this is a very heavy lift. I know myself and many others are carrying a heavy load, and one of the things I do is, since my prison days, the harder the things got, the more I would channel that energy into something productive. And you can be successful without being without being effective. And I say that to say that we have feelings and we have emotions and we have a lot of experiences and we all as people, Ali, we have a lot of things that, you know,
People don't know about us as individuals, yourself, myself, and everybody listening. Yet, at some point, if we carry those things without dealing with them in a proper way, it could it could take us to a level where it breaks us down. Now, you heard me cry, and you can see me be emotional, but guess what? I can still fight while I be like the way I am because
Mm-hmm.
I deal with myself and my past and don't make it a personal thing. Because I understand that we as a people and people all over the world, all races, are dealing with major things emotionally and psychologically that this society had here before we came in this earth. So we all have to remember that in this business, in our community, we have to remember that if we have to know where our limit is. We have to know where our we can't take on more than we can handle. If what I did took away from my family, my daughter is 3 years old, is about to wake up any minute and come out here, and we're going to a business shower.
Yeah.
My wife went to get her hair done this morning. My son is in his room, stayed up all night playing PlayStation. If I took on this business and brought it home to them, and what happens with how many homeless people, how many people getting killed. I'm in all the conversations. I'm listening to people in the middle of the night, the domestic violence, just all those things. We can in this business internalize them, yet at the same time, I'm saying this because there's somebody out there listening to this that's dealing with more than they should be dealing with, and they have to remember that they can't help nobody unless they help themselves. So make sure your self-care. I don't care if you have to take a day off from work, whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
your self-care, your mental care to just be able to breathe and know that you was born for a reason. You wasn't born to be kicked over, to be overlooked, that you do have a purpose, and just plan where you're going, know where you're going, plan uh uh plan, because if you don't
Right.
plan, it's going to be hard. And I just want to give a quick analogy to the Cheshire Cat and Alice in Wonderland. How important it is to know where you're going, Allie, and those stories, it's morals in them. However,
Yeah.
Alice was looking for her way, and she asked the Cheshire Cat, she said, Cheshire Cat, which way should I go? The Cheshire Cat, being wise, asked Alice, well, where you going, Alice? And Alice said, well, I don't really know. And so the Cheshire Cat told her something. The Cheshire Cat said, well, since you don't know where you're going, you can go either way, Alice.
Right. Right.
That means everything in this world. Taking a biblical verse, we got to remember it was an 11-day journey that Moses and the people went 40 years. That story is there for a reason. I came home after 13 years, 1 month, and 19 days, and I told you, people were literally not maybe the exact same job, but a job exactly like it, commiserate with what was going on in society. They still had the same rush to work, the same frustrated and deal with other people based off of the same
Mm-hmm.
happiness level based off of what they physically had, all those things that were true. And it just made me think about how all these great books and great things that we learn are telling us things that are already happening for us not to follow in those same paths, to not fall victim to what W. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey fell victim to. Marcus Garvey had companies with airplanes, had millions following, had ships, monies, and all this. W. Du Bois had the entire, I mean, not the entire, but massive amounts of so-called the talented 10 for the bourgeoisie of Zayd, listening to what he had to say and influenced by him. Yet, because W. Du Bois followers wanted to do those things and get degrees and live it here in America, and Marcus Garvey's followers wanted to get all of these resources and take it back to the islands in Africa. Those two men were not able to come together like we're coming together in 2021 with you and every other person out here. We are the modern day Harriet Tubmans. We are the modern day Stokeleys.
Yeah.
We have to come together as all of those, even if all the people who don't know what to do and know how to do, the people that's riding the ship, the people that's driving the ships have got to come together and plot our course so we don't run into each other. So we don't have split people up like Solomon in the Bible. Don't split the baby in two. Keep the baby together.
and
Wow.
let's us go together.
Mm, mm, mm. You said so much. Oh my gosh.
Well, like I said, it may not be another opportunity, and
Right.
and you may imagine that the times, the news, other than when they did the food, and I haven't seen that, so I don't know. But I've had interviews with news or whoever, and they rarely ever play it because the things that I say go around unity. And if you watch the news, they'll take any of us individually, tell our great story, have us smiling. We dressed up, we marketed our business. But guess what? They'll do that 1,000 times over and over. But watch there and look at those shows and tell me how many, Allie, have you seen one time when those same news media brought people together and said these are the people who are trying to unify and come together? Because black people unifying is the scariest thing that's ever came on this planet. And the FBI said it out their own mouth. Black unity is not what's wanted. And so the news media, the mainstream media, you will hear all the famous people. Their conversation is never us doing it together.
Mm.
Look at all the rich people, business people, athletes, and entertainers. Look how much taxes they're paying to the federal government. If they just paid their taxes to 501c3s instead of these nonprofits that 95% of them create to do what, I don't know, because we never feel the effects. The Hornets are right here. When have you seen the Hornets in the community other than something televised? This is everyday work. If those people just paid
Right.
their tax burden that they paid Uncle Sam, which is legal, to the 501c3s, the way other organizations and other cultures do, we could you imagine those. Could you imagine those resources, even in a place like Charlotte, from the
Yeah.
Panthers and Hornets, going into all of these murder zones and poverty areas and dealing with this 96% poverty? Yet the news or nobody talks about these things or bring these things up. So I just feel like I have this opportunity right here to speak with you, that I can say these things, and if they make sense, can't be debunked. Why don't people do it? Beautiful LeBron, you got a school. Beautiful Jalen Rose, you got a school. But what if y'all talk to y'all colleagues and y'all put a fraction of those millions into the general funds of these black grassroots organizations that are in these communities dealing with people who are about to deal with the biggest eviction crisis that we've seen in our time? Why can't we be preventive? Why can't this conversation be had then instead of everybody once it's happening and we got 10 cities turned into 10 county and everybody's saying, what can we do? Can we bring them food? Can we bring them toothbrushes? No, we got to get ahead of it now. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. We see what's going on. These are cycles. We know that this pandemic has came. We know that this moratorium is going to end. We know that a lot of people on a small level has gotten a lot of money over these times, and that we have a rich society. We have to put it out here that we have to take to acts to give a little bit from as many people as we can to head off these problems coming. We got to open up some buildings and be able to house people in them, bring services to them, bring food and clothes to them, bring mentors to them, bring counselors to them, bring job employers to them. We have got to be proactive, show initiative, and not go with the status quo, Allie.
Hmm. Amen. All
And
that you
that's
just
everything.
said.
This is every day how we live, So I know it come out a lot, but this is, a Facebook post or, and a conversation amongst us is kind of different. So now having a conversation amongst us with the also Facebook being kind of tied in social media, you
Right.
kind of getting, kind of the gist of, we are very focused and we very dedicated, and we're gonna fight till we die.
That's it. That's it. Well, Rodney, I can't believe our hour's almost come to an end, and I know you're getting ready to go to another
That
event.
was an hour. Good gracious.
Yeah.
Yes, going to Mooresville to the business shower. Donja Williams having her first business shower. She got swag bags worth thousands of dollars there. She's a great colleague of mine, Donja Williams. She's doing a really first thing. She's out of New York, but she's here. She's like very focused, and I'm just happy for her. I'm very happy for her that she's been talking about this for months. And after doing hundreds and hundreds of events,
I get excited when I still see people doing their first or doing their thing, and
Yeah.
because I know how support is, and sometimes just being there, and because people get killed in churches, Allie. People get killed in the police station. People get killed in the street. People get killed in school, and it's sad. But it's one thing I've noticed over these 7 years now. March 15th was actually the first day we came together and met. But since March 15th of 2014, one thing I've noticed, all of these meetings and greetings we've never even had an argument at our events, much less violence or killings. So community events are really a safe place.
Yes,
Yes. If you had them 365 days a year, all four sides of the town, I bet you things can change. At least the murder rate can drop, because those are safe places.
Exactly.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to express myself. To I didn't know how this would go. I had no intentions. I didn't know where you wanted to go. I just kind of followed you to lead. But I'm glad we was able to kind of, hopefully one person out there may hear this one time and say, you know what? I can see myself living out my passion the same way.
That's it.
Or similar ways, just going forward,
That's it. Well, Rodney, make
start
sure
from wherever you at and just go for it.
That's it. Make sure you tell them again the name of your Facebook groups and how they can follow you or get in touch with you if they want to collaborate or
well, you can find me on Facebook. My page is public. You come onto my page, Rodney L. McGill. My messenger is public also. Just come connect with me. We have 4 community groups besides my page, and I have those community groups. Alice, I'm sure you're in at least one of them.
Yes.
We just want to expose all of our people who are doing things to a wider pool. A lot of times, even in a city as big as Charlotte, we don't realize that the world is big, and that we can get into a localized state of mind where we're attempting to put big thoughts into a little box. And I like to put people in situations where, your thoughts have breathing room to grow, and you have people there that's, can align with those thoughts. You put 10 barbers in a group together, you might find a bond, and then let's do something in the community based off of that. So, just whatever we can do. And so those groups are there, post what you want, just let it be known in any way. Because we used to have to pay, and you should remember this, you may not have been paying, and I didn't, $150 for 2 lines in the back of a black and white newspaper.
Exactly.
Advertising has changed a lot since you and
That's it. Advertising has changed, and opportunities have changed. A lot of times, even investments and things like that, we couldn't invest because it would cost like $20,000 just to get in the door. But we have different opportunities now. So I say, keep digging. If you don't know what they are, keep digging because they're out there. Be encouraged. I say thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for your pureness and heart, your genuineness. Thank you for letting us see your passion, because that's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to make people say, "Oh yeah, he's serious. He's about his business." So let me see. Let me talk to him a little bit more. Wow. So I appreciate give the young lady
it's all right.
Oh yeah. Give the young lady our regards, our congratulations on what she's embarking on. And again, this won't be our last conversation. I'm sure about that. And so you guys know we are
look forward to it.
Yeah. You guys know we are making connections with Allie. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon, every Monday at 2 p.m. Go to our Facebook page, like the page, turn on your notifications. So when we have these great interviews, you'll know when we go live. Make sure if you caught this, whether live or on the replay, that you like it and you share it, because we got to continue what was said here today. So make sure you share it with your circle, your family, somebody. Sit down and watch this video with somebody and be like, okay, what's our next step? All right. Well, thank you, Rodney. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you soon. You guys, as always, we hope that you have a blessed day. Thank you for your support, for making connections. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Like I said, on Facebook, give us a call at 980-3. I always get that number on 980-389-6826. You can call or text that number. And until next time, as always, Rodney, you have any last remarks?
Well, if I get any last remarks, if I think about us going to Raleigh and doing political work, you appear to be a great anchor. So we'd love to have you. Maybe,
Okay.
we have connection that we would love for you to moderate and host, and see how we can work together. However that work.
Okay. Hey,
So
I'm
I
down for
appreciate
it.
it. I like to cross collaborate. I love to cross collaborate. Every
Yes,
time you collaborate, it's an opportunity to unify, and you never know what's going to come when you put two different chemicals together.
that's it. I love the concept of unity. I love the concept of everybody winning together. And so we can
Yes.
continue, and I'm sure Alan's like, okay, you said this was the end, but guys, stay tuned because there is more of this to come. Because when God puts something in motion, it don't stop until it is completed the assignment He has for it. So know that, and that includes your life. So be encouraged. We love you. And as always, until next time, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day, family. Talk to you later, Rodney.